And I think sometimes we think we have to, you know, put ourselves in a box and stay with one style even if we're not excited anymore. Hey, I'm Tina, guitar player from Berlin, and today I'd like to talk about practicing the guitar, because today I really don't feel like practicing so much and just want to share the things that I do when I don't feel like practicing and when I'm generally a little bit down and not feeling so well. So the first thing that I do is I meditate with the HEADSPACE app. I have to force myself to do that. It's no other way for me to do that. If I haven't been doing it in a long time, it gets harder all the time. So I just like really sort of sit myself down with this app, and I do a meditation. It's around 10 minutes. It's guided meditations, and I did one on productivity, which maybe doesn't sound so appealing, but it sounds appealing to me. It's about concentration, and it's really crazy. Time flies by, and 10 minutes are over very quickly, and I feel so much better after it. I can't begin to tell you. So already did that, and when I have been stopping meditating, I realized that my desk is a complete like mess. I have all the notes, so like notes, you know, like post-it notes, like, but real notation, everything is like flying around. I have so many ideas, and I also have like many requests for videos, and I can't do them all, and I really need to understand what I want to do. So the next thing that I did is I sort of cleaned up my desktop, and I made a list, and I tried to put stuff on that list that is really like exciting me. So I also also have something like this, right? I don't know the word in English, right? So, and then I have like those blue things here, and then I write down here, for example, technical exercise, because I really like to do this exercise. Then I'm working on a tune like Smile from Domi. I'm working on a Scofield lick, and while I'm going through that mess that I created in the last weeks, I'm throwing away a lot of stuff. So I give myself the permission to throw away everything that doesn't really excite me. So it's not like, you know, oh, it would be okay to practice that, or I should practice that, but no, it's only, oh, I really want to practice that. And that lands in this thing here, and I also make like a list, an extra list, so that I have an extra overview. And in the end, only three things made it on this paper, which is amazing to me. Yes, and I think the act of cleaning up itself already is so powerful. So I always tell my students to have a corner where they have their stuff. It doesn't really work out for me like this, but I try to sort of have a corner in my room where I have like a, you know, like my music and the metronome and the pick. And for example, today I have been running around my apartment for like 30 minutes to find a pick. And yes, that is of course costing me a lot of energy, so I would advise you to do that differently. And yes, and then the other thing that I realized is that I'm so annoyed by my looper, right? I have been working with it so much, and it's pretty loud. When I think you maybe heard it in my videos, and also with the sound and everything, I'm not satisfied at the moment, and I just gave myself permission. You know, I think that's so important to say, okay, so it's not the loop at the moment. So what I did, I got my freezer, and so I'm going to play with the freezer today, because just I like it, you know, I just allow myself to do what I like. So So, and one thing that I also really like to do if I don't feel so much like playing is to play like a technical exercise, to play something very repetitive. So not to start with improvisation or analyze a song, but I know I just really want to get my fingers on the fretboard because I really like that feeling. And you too, right? And so I was very happy when I found this one piece of paper where I wrote down, like, you know, can you read that? Like, you know, those permutations, I'm sure you know them, and there are a lot of them, but I wrote down those that I really like because I have a feeling I'm training my fingers. So I'm going to do one of those. It's like 1, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, and just play that for a while. And that's what's going to happen now too. So, and what I'm trying to do, I learned that many years ago, I try to have really like the fingers very relaxed and that they're all more or less going in the same direction. So it's a little bit like this, you know, not so much like this, and that they're all sort of parallel. So I'm trying to do that. And then I would practice it a little faster. So, because, you know, in my mind I'm always like a slow player, so I have to convince myself. And what I do is just play slow. Yes, and after a while I would try to play 60 notes, so I start with playing 60 notes on one note. And I start with a downstroke. And then I start with an upstroke. I never practiced that, but it makes such a difference. Right from below. And really try to play it until it feels a little bit easier, and if it's only a little bit. And then after a while I would try to play all 4 notes in 60 notes, but then have a break, like. So, and I would stay with one exercise for like maybe 2 times 20 minutes, or a really long time. And while I have been playing those notes, I really thought that's an enclosure, right? And then I thought, oh, maybe I could practice like an arpeggio with this enclosure. So just maybe take a C major arpeggio. And then play an enclosure for each note, like and then just record that chord on my freezer. And then just use that technical exercise. I have been working on the tune Smile from Domi and JD Beck, and it has really cool chords, and that would be another thing that I would investigate, you know, right? Like, because they have that B flat minor chord, that's the first chord of Smile, with a 2 in it, so it would be like B flat minor. And then I would just replace the root with a 9. And I know the second chord is a G flat major, so I would only work with those 2 chords for a while. So let's play the D minor. And let's play a G flat major. And then, yes, I would just like think about the inversions of the minor chord. And then just always replace the root with a 9. And then always try to play a G flat major chord in between. And then just take it from there, and maybe a next step would be to just transpose the same idea. So let's take that very basic A minor chord and replace the root with a 9. And then think about the major chord. What would it be in A minor? It would be F major, right? B flat to G flat, A flat to F, yes. And F. Ah, that sounds a lot like it, right? Yeah. And yes, so basically I always work with very small parts of the songs that I learn, and I'm coming back to it, so I have sort of a rotation system, so that's why it's always very good for me to have like this thing where I put the stuff in that I really love, and then I know where it is if I'm not overwhelmed by chaos. But I come back and I leave it alone and I let it marinate, and then I have the other stuff that is just like coming in for a day and getting out for another day. You know, like some stuff just doesn't stick, but the stuff that sticks gets into this thing here, and I think it's a very, very good process because, you know, I'm trying to think of myself as a filter. That means I have my preferences and my taste, my way of playing. I didn't actively choose it, that's just me. But the more stuff I get through this filter, through my personality, the more stuff is getting out on the other side, if that makes any sense. So it's like a lot of options, right? You don't have to... You know, I always have been thinking I can only play jazz standards, I can't play any modern music, but of course everybody can sort of try to play anything, and I think sometimes we think we have to, you know, put ourselves in a box and stay with one style even if we're not excited anymore, and I think that's a mistake. And if we transcribe stuff, whatever it is, if, you know, I'm so curious what people are playing, I really want to understand what's going on, and it becomes a part of me, but it's not that I'm playing like, I don't know, Charlie Parker or maybe Kurt Rosenwinkel. If I would do that for years and years, it's just like something that informs my playing, and I can't control in which way it will come back out. So don't be afraid to try new stuff, especially if you're bored with yourself. Go and try new stuff, see what sticks, and what sticks gets into this thing. Let me know how that works for you. I would be curious to know, and I hope you're doing fine. I see you around. Bye.